Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video in the What Is Juice channel, and welcome back to another Madden rebuild here on Madden 24. That is right. This time, we are back on the PS5, and we are going to be taking a look at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts have been a weird team the past couple of seasons, going through veteran quarterback after veteran quarterback, but never really finding their guy. They had Phillip Rivers, they had Matt Ryan, they had Carson Wentz. They never really could find their guy once Andrew Luck retired. But then they might have struck gold. They got themselves Anthony Richardson, quarterback from Florida. Unfortunately for them, his play style was a little bit too physical, and in his rookie season that we've seen right now, he has been injured, and I think he's out for the rest of the season. He didn't play much, but when he did, he showed some flashes of greatness or potential greatness. So that is the key to this rebuild. We want to make sure that Anthony Richardson gets himself a Super Bowl and we get this Colts team back to what they were in the 2000s with Peyton Manning and the 2010s with Andrew Luck. So we want to get them back to where they could be. They've got some pieces, but we need to make sure that we add those little extra bits to make them a Super Bowl champion. If you guys go and enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and let's get started. This is the Colts team that we are going to be working with. I think I have one of the most up-to-date rosters. If not, there might be one extra one that has slightly different ratings, but I think this is the most up-to-date one that I could find. So we've obviously got our main man, AR, Anthony Richardson, hopefully going to develop. He's only at 73 right now, and I think he only has star development, but if he has a couple of good seasons, maybe even wins Rookie of the Year, he could certainly be a franchise quarterback for us in a couple of seasons. We've obviously got Jonathan Taylor, who is unbelievably talented. Just a little bit slightly low of an overall. I wish he was in the 90s, but it is what it is. He'll get there if we have good seasons. Michael Pittman is a nice number one, but he's getting a little bit older. At 25, he's not old at 25, not necessarily, but in a couple of seasons, he's going to be in 27, 28 years old, entering or probably in his prime at that point. Are we going to be ready with our rookie quarterback? I hope so. We'll have to wait and see. I just don't want him to get too old and then we have to move on from him, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think in the time that he's in his prime, 26, 27, 28, 29, that era of his prime, we should be in Super Bowl contention. At least I would hope. We've got the rookie Josh Downs, but other than that, I don't really like the rest of the wide receiver core. There's not really much to be happy about. Obviously, on the offense, we've got some studs. Hall of Famer Quentin Nelson, one of the best guards in all of football, maybe even in the past decade or so. He is so good. Absolutely so talented. We've got Bernard Raymond, or not Bernard. Yeah, it is Bernard. Bernard Raymond. He is nice and young. Left tackle, 75 overall. Should develop decently well for a Madden offensive lineman. We've got Braden Smith, who is 27. We may need to look for a new tackle depending on the future of this team, the course that we take, because at 27 and only being an 82, he's probably not going to develop much more. He'll get some morale boost if we win games, but as for like getting super, super high overall, he's probably not going to be there anymore. But he's still a serviceable tight end for right now. And then our center is Ryan Kelly, where you're probably going to have to move on from him. And there's certainly going to be centers in the future in drafts that are going to be pretty good. But we definitely need to get a right guard for sure. We've got Jelani Woods. We like Jelani Woods, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Tight end's not a huge factor. Defense needs some serious work, though. We need to overhaul this entire linebacking core. We need to basically overhaul this entire safety core and add a few extra corners because Kenny Moore. I was going to say Kellen Moore. Kenny Moore is getting up there in age, and by the time we're ready to win a championship, he is not going to be anywhere near good enough to be a number one corner. So we need to overhaul the entire secondary and linebacking core. The defensive line, you know what? This entire defense needs to be overhauled because everybody's getting a little bit older. Quiddy Pay's not super old, but he's not that great of an overall anyway. We need to get this whole defense needs a facelift, basically. We need to change what we're doing here on defense. I don't like really anybody that's on that team except for maybe DeForest Buckner, but he's old too. We need to figure some things out on defense. The offense doesn't need as much work as what the defense does, but this whole team needs work. We currently have the 4th overall pick, but that's probably not going to be that way because I think the Colts simulate pretty well in Madden 24, if I'm not mistaken. We will see what the first draft class has to offer. Left tackle, right tackle, wide receiver. I could certainly use a tackle as a scout. That would be something I'd be down for. So let's fire Eric Cross and then go to the 3-star scouts and look for outside tackles and maybe linebacker. Outside linebacker could be good too. Yeah, I think I'll go with this guy, Tyler Rogers. We'll go for offensive tackle and we'll go for outside linebackers. I know that we have the exact same one here, but we're going to fire her, Lily Villanueva. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to fire you, but it is what it is. And we'll sign, I don't know, Rava Singh. We'll sign her to the Central, looks like. Yeah, so she can be. And we have another. What is with all these outside or these offensive tackles, outside linebackers? I have no idea what's going on with them. We'll fire her too. Courtney Taylor gets fired, and we will bring in, I don't know, Ashley Medina, D tackle, inside interior offensive line. I don't care about that. That is, it doesn't really matter what she goes for. There we go. All right, perfect. So we got our scouts figured out now. We have the strengths of the class in offensive tackle. We'll probably end up using the national focus on tackle because we could use it. We could use it, certainly. But that is going to be all that we need to do for season 1. We're going to simulate to the halfway point. No. We're going to simulate to the end of the season. I want to simulate all the way to the end of the season, see where this team does. Like I said earlier, I'm not sure if they simulate well or not. I think I've seen Anthony Richardson play in the Super Bowl before, so we'll find out. I guess we'll see how this team does. If we're playing too well by the midseason mark, I'll bring you guys back in to maybe make some trades to tank a little bit. But as of right now, we'll see what happens. I'll see you guys maybe at the midseason mark, but most likely at the end of the season. We have reached the end of the season, and we finished 4-13. So exactly how I wanted the season to go, but I also wanted to see some development from Anthony Richardson, who did not have a very productive season. 3,400 yards, 22 touchdowns, 20 picks. Not that good, but he's a rookie playing on a somewhat bad team, so it's understandable. Jonathan Taylor balled out in terms of yards, had 9 touchdowns for Richardson as well, and Zach Moss had 10 touchdowns for some reason. Okay, maybe the backup running back gets a lot of touchdowns in this playbook. I don't know. Isaiah McKenzie was the leading receiver. If Isaiah McKenzie is your leading receiver after a season, you're in a bad spot. Michael Pittman didn't really get a lot of usage, which is kind of concerning. Josh Downs didn't really either. Very interesting offensive playbook the Colts have. Alubi, Segun, Alubi, I apologize for pronouncing his name. 111 tackles. He led the team. Zaire Franklin had 108. Blackman had 91. Kenny Moore had 88. Julius Brents, the rookie, had 88. DeForest Buckner, 71. Tackle for loss leader was Buckner with 19. Quiddy Pay had 16. 11.5 sacks for Buckner. So Buckner had a really, really good season. 6 sacks for Ebukam, 4.5 for Pay. Pick leader was Blackman. Man, Julian Blackman, 91 tackles, 4 picks. That could be, what is he, superstar development now? If he's already on star, so he could go up to superstar, I guess. Flowers had 3, 2 for Franklin and Brents. All right, it's a whatever season, I guess. It's a whatever season. We'll simulate to the end of the Super Bowl season or end of the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl, figure out where we're going. I did take a look at the players that need new contracts. Kenny Moore is probably the most intriguing name on there. I think we might trade Kenny Moore this offseason. I don't see a world where we're good enough in the time span before he starts to regress heavily. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. He's already only an 84, and he's, what, 29 or something? 28? So he's already super old, and he's not going to get much better. Wait, did they give Trey Sermon a model? Did Trey Sermon just get a player model? Hold on. I got to figure this out. Trey Sermon's one of my favorite Buckeyes. I got to see if he's got himself a player model now. Wait, can I see him now? Josh Downs is star. Did anybody go up? I don't see anybody go up. We know that Richardson's star development. Nobody on offense went up a development trait. EJ Speed is star. Julian Blackman did get superstar. That's huge. Okay. That helps a lot out. But I don't see anybody else except for EJ Speed going up. All right. How old is EJ Speed? He is 29. So that doesn't really... I don't like that. I don't like that a lot. I need to go to the depth chart and make Trey Sermon in this lineup so that I can see his player model. Trey Sermon. Did you get a player model? He did. Did he already have one? There's no way that Trey Sermon already had a model in the game. I don't know, but I like him. I love Trey Sermon. I'm glad he got a player model. Whatever. He may have already had one. I just didn't recognize it. Or I didn't realize it, I should say. Dolphins win the Super Bowl, by the way. I went off on a little tangent. Dolphins beat the Niners in the Super Bowl. Tua is the MVP of the Super Bowl. Dak is your MVP of the league. Could be happening in real life. McCaffrey and Donald are the players of the year. And then Bijan and Jalen Carter are the rookies of the year. So no awards for the Colts. I was hoping for maybe rookie of the year for Anthony Richardson, but he just didn't play well enough to do it. And we only won like 4 games, so he was never going to do it. But that's okay. That is all right because we can develop him here. And now talking about negotiations, we don't have to worry about money because we have plenty of money. I am going to accept the option on Quiddy Pay, but Kenny Moore's 29. I know it's not a lot of money, but at 29, I just don't see a world where we bring him back. I could bring back Tyquan Lewis for depth, and because he's a Buckeye. You know I have Buckeye bias. Don't act like you don't know. 2 years, that's fine, I guess. But Kenny Moore, I just don't think he's gonna be here. Cameron McGowan will bring back just because we need bodies at linebacker, even if we draft somebody. But I think I'm gonna trade Kenny Moore. I don't think we can get very much for him. But we are going to attempt to trade him. And I didn't turn off the trade deadline. Why am I stupid? Stupido. I always turn off the trade deadline, but I forgot. I don't play with trade deadline on. Screw trade deadline. I want to be able to trade whenever I want. Can I do it now? I have to advance a week, so we're going to lose Kenny Moore for nothing. I don't think we would have got much for him, but it is what it is. That's just me being stupid, which is not a rare occurrence. All right, so we go into free agency. Hopefully we get a good free agency. And Kenny Moore is the second highest rated player in the class. That is not a good sign. We don't need a quarterback. We don't need a running back. We do need a receiver, but there's not a whole lot there. I mean, Richie James is 28. Probably not the move. We always go for KJ Hamler, but he's just always such a good player to get. I can't help it. I just like getting him. I don't want any of these players. Tight ends, we don't really need. Offensive linemen, we don't necessarily need unless it's a right guard, but I'd rather draft one. So, ooh, Jackson Carman. But only a 70 overall, that's not really worth it. Defensive line. No. Don't want any D tackles. Don't want any right ends. Romeo Aquara. 29 years old. Am I really not going to be able to spend any of this money? Devin Bush. I always go for Devin Bush, don't I? And he always gets buried on my depth chart. I'll go for him again. Why not? We got the money. We'll go for him. He could be a good one-year starter, I guess, until we find his replacement, hopefully. But we'll give him that money. He should accept that. And then the right outside linebackers, Kalike Hudson, I don't really want. 26 at 75 overall is not bad. But I don't really want him. And then the corner situation's not much better. Although Bryce Hall's here. I do like that. Bryce Hall is a nice corner who develops decently well. We just rebuilt him with the Jets in the Jets rebuild that we did. So we just had him. So he develops decently well. That could be a nice replacement for Kenny Moore, at least right off the bat until we find somebody else. And I don't really like any of the safeties. Darnell Savage is intriguing. Tony Adams. Darnell Savage is intriguing. I might bring in Darnell Savage to be like a bandage, little patchwork at free safety until we eventually find a replacement, or he just stays the guy. So those are going to be my targets. We should be able to bring all of them in, and we do. So we get 3 new defensive players, a corner, a free safety, and a middle linebacker. Hopefully that will help the team out slightly. So we will generate the best lineup. We certainly need to get a right guard. That is absolutely a fact. But we add Devin Bush to the team, and he probably will start. I'll change one of these two to right outside linebacker. He'll start there. And then we've got Darnell Savage, who will start at free safety. Bryce Hall becomes our new number 1 with Julius Brents. Hopefully Brents will take over as the number 1. And yeah, this team is not good, but we are in slightly of a better spot than we were just because we're getting development from Anthony Richardson, I guess. But we got to go to the draft, take a look at mock draft number 5, see where we are officially picking because I have no idea. I did go and use, when it asked me for the national focus, I did use offensive tackle, so we know 95 to 100% on both left tackle and right tackle. We could be finding our replacement, and since it's Madden, we can probably draft a tackle and move them over to guard. It wouldn't be that bad of a thing, but we'll see. We'll have to see how it plays out. Hopefully, there's a good defensive lineman or linebacker or something. Maybe there's a really, really good edge rusher. I don't know. I have no idea. All right, let's take a look at mock draft number 5. Where are we picking officially? The number 2 pick. Okay. Well, we know for a fact that this guy, Rakeem Wiggins, is a true talent at round 1. But I'm not taking him at pick number 2. I mean, he's a fine athlete. He's got a finesse move, a pursuit. He looks good, but he's not number 2 pick worthy. I probably want to take not Dalton Daniels either. I mean, he's got good power moves. He's probably not number 1 pick material. This left tackle looks generational. Greg Singer. Oh my god. Oh my god. We're taking Greg Singer. I'm not passing up on a generational left tackle. I'm taking him at number 3. Or number 2, I guess. That is insane. That's a generational left tackle right there. So that's what we're doing. We don't have to look at all this. I mean, I could look at it, but we're taking Greg Singer with the 2nd overall pick. We're going to screw the Lions out of their pick and take Greg Singer because we're not letting the Lions pair up that guy with Penei Sewell. That would be too dangerous. Let's go to the private workouts, and I could use it on Greg Singer just to find out if he's actually a top 5 talent in the class, and I kind of want to do that. So we're gonna use one on Greg Singer. We're gonna use one on. We need more corners. Oh, the best corners round 2 to 3. This is not a good cornerback class whatsoever. We'll have to wait until next year. What about outside linebackers? Are there any in the late rounds? There's only round 1s and then day 3s. That's not promising. 6'5" with solid speed. It's not really worth it. Let's go to middle linebackers. Man, this draft class in general is just not very good. It didn't look like. It didn't look like at all. Ted Montgomery is a fine athlete, probably has normal development. Who's this guy? Jose Beekman. Jose could be solid. He doesn't look bad. And then we got Kerry Carrington, legendary name with elite speed. I'm intrigued by these 2 linebackers, Jose Beekman and Kerry Carrington, plus that left tackle just to find out if he truly has top 5 talent. He's got to be. He's generational for sure. He's absolutely generational. We're going to take him, and then hopefully we'll get those 2 middle linebackers. I don't know if they're going to have development traits, but they do look pretty decent in terms of their just raw physical talent. So we will hope, and we will pray. All right, let's take one final look. We don't need to take a look at the mock draft because we know we're taking him, and he is a true top 5. I figured he would be. I figured he would be a top 5 talent. He just looks absolutely unreal. I haven't seen a left tackle that good in a long time. And especially not using, like, very strong or strong draft classes. We're just using the base normal draft classes. So let's start drafting. Pause the draft. Number 1 pick is the Houston Texans. They should take that defensive lineman, and I'm assuming they did, but the thing is glitched because this game is great. And Greg Singer is on the table, and we are going to take him. He's got amazing physicals, and he's an amazing left tackle. He's got to be in the 80s. Gotta be. 89 strength, 86 acceleration. Oh, he's so good. He's such a good left tackle. He's probably going to move to right tackle, honestly. And now we can skip to the second round and figure out what... Good news for us is we have the second pick of each round. So we have the pick of whoever's left, basically. How good is this running back, Brandon Phillips? Brandon Phillips? That dude BP? Legendary Reds second baseman? Married to Jade Cargill? I just gave you a rundown of Brandon Phillips. Zach Cooper looks okay. Taj Bullock. Or is it Bullock? I wish he had the speed. He's got A man coverage, though. I don't know if he's a second round pick. I don't know if he's a second round pick or not. Lou Waters, hardly know her. Oh, the poor speed. Ugh. Ugh. Don't like that. We've got Chris Williams, 6'5", run-stopping D tackle, who looks solid, but is he a round 2 pick? That's to be decided. Gilbert Boley. Gilbert Boley didn't do the combine or his pro day, so he just was total rebellious, said, I don't want to do any of that. He looks not horrible right now, but we don't know enough about him. He could have D on a bunch of stuff. Or C, I guess. Gilbert Boley in the second round, that might be a risky one. Because we don't know, obviously, how fast he is, because he didn't run into combine or his pro. Who skips their own pro day? That's a little weird. Skipping your own pro day. I think I'm either going to go Gilbert Boley, or I'm going to go with that D tackle, Chris Williams. Or should I go with Taj Bullock? I like Taj Bullock. Do I think that Taj Bullock is going to be better than Gilbert Boley? I don't know. He's got A man coverage, B hit power. We know that for sure. What about Boley? We know that Boley is a little bit taller, has slightly better physicals. He's got A block shed, A hit power, B play rec. His man coverage is a little bit lower. I think Boley's better. I'm going to take Gilbert Boley. Only normal development, that sucks. But 89 speed, 87 acceleration, 87 agility. He's a solid player. And playing behind Darnell Savage could be useful. That could be a good thing for him. Sucks that he only has normal development, though. I wonder if that safety, the other safety, we were just looking at Bullock. I wonder if he has development trait or not. Now we need to take a look at those linebackers. They were middle linebackers. And they are both gone? Or were they down? Okay, they were down the board. I was going to say, are they both gone? They are down the board. Jose Beekman. A lot of middle linebackers are still on the table because they all kind of suck. So we could be able to get both of these guys with our third and fourth round picks. Jose Beekman looks pretty good, but I think, was it Carrington that had the elite speed or something? Yeah, Kerry Carrington has the elite speed. I'm going to take him first, simply because he has the elite speed. 91 speed, 91 acceleration. We got to look for Jose Beekman in the fourth round. I don't know if he's going to be there, but all these linebackers have to be there. They suck. I don't think we need to trade up. So we're betting on ourselves, hoping that the other teams did not take middle linebackers. And Beekman is the final one, or he's the first one on the board. Ooh, we're going to grab him. He's only normal, but I think he looks really, really good as well. And we could move Kerry Carrington to right outside linebacker because he's got so much speed. That could be something good. I like those picks. And then we move to the fifth round, and I don't really know where we go from here. Maybe an offensive lineman if there's one available, because we do need a right guard still. But you're not going to really find a great right guard this late in the draft, and there's none left in this board, that's for sure. There's no left guards, really. We might have waited a little bit too long on offensive linemen. That's okay. We can find one in the next draft. Unless Dorian Wilcox is amazing. And you know what? It's round 5. He's normal development. I knew it was going to be. He's going to be bad, but what does it matter? We're going to let the CPU handle the rest of this. End the draft. We got our guy. We got our generational tackle. I forget his name, but we got our generational tackle. He looks unbelievable. If he's not like 82, 83, I'm going to throw a fit because he looks unbelievable. I wouldn't even be shocked if he had superstar development as a rookie, as an offensive lineman. 82, perfectly fine. He's got to be the best player in the class, or at least the second best player in the class, because this class didn't look that good. Boley ends up being a 71. Kerry Carrington ends up being a 76, so we did draft him in the right order. I think I'm going to move him to... What happens if I move him to right outside linebacker? I don't know what his finesse moves are. He's got... he probably can't play right outside linebacker, but it's Madden, so it doesn't matter. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. If we move him to right outside linebacker, what happens? He's a 76 right now. He falls to a 70. Oh, no, I thought he'd fall to a 71. That was bully. He goes up to a 77. Perfect. So he'll be our starting right outside linebacker for hopefully the entire rebuild. And then we got Jose Beekman. We've got Wilcox, 63. Hicks is a 67, who they took. And then they took a guard who's a 64. All right, perfect. This class could not have been that good. He had to have been the best player. And he was by far. Oh my God, 82 overall. Greg Singer was the best player by far. And we grabbed him because he just looked amazing. But then the next player is a 77. And then it ends up being Kerry Carrington, who we changed. But he was a 76 before. So he ends up being the third best player. We had a really great draft. And it didn't even look like he was going to be that good. But that's a really, really good draft. Considering the draft class in general was just not good. We came away with 2 of the 3 highest rated players in the class. I'd say that's amazing. And we got the other guy, we got Carrington in the freaking 3rd round or whatever it was. So they have Singer playing over Raymond. And you know what? I don't hate that because obviously Singer's going to start either way. But what happens if we move Bernard Raymond to right guard? Is that kind of crazy? Are we getting real crazy in this rebuild? We might be getting real crazy in this rebuild. What happens if I move him to right guard? Can he play there? He will change to a 78 overall. Our offense line's pretty much finished. We need to come up with a center who's younger than Ryan Kelly and probably a replacement for Braden Smith. But right now, our offensive line's looking amazing. And then we go to the defensive side of things. Carrington will start right there at right outside linebacker. Franklin will probably start over Devin Bush because he's just a higher overall. And we are looking pretty good. Boley will unfortunately be pretty low on the depth chart, but that's okay. All right. I'd say that's a really good first year in the books. We'll go into season 2. I have no idea how good we're going to be, but I just am looking for development from our young guys, from Anthony Richardson especially, and then we'll go into season 2 off season and figure out what we got. But I will see you guys at the end of year number 2 with the results. Season 2 is wrapped up. We got better. We went 6-11. That's progress. That is the definition of progress. We did get better. How much better did we get? Anthony Richardson lowered those picks, but he did not do much better than that. 3,200 yards, 22 touchdowns, 18 picks. We might need to switch the Colts playbook. I just don't know if it is the right move. I mean, it's obviously great for Jonathan Taylor, but we're not here for Jonathan Taylor. He's a great running back. I like having him on the team, but we're here for Anthony Richardson. So we got to get a playbook that suits his needs, which could be Dallas's playbook. It could be Buffalo's playbook. It could be, obviously, Chiefs playbook would be great for Jelani Woods. We'll try out a couple. Probably, I always go Dallas. Maybe we'll go Chiefs this time to make sure Jelani Woods can have a fantastic career. Nobody gets over 1,000 yards again, but at least this time Michael Pittman led the team. And then defensively, wait. I want to see, how many sacks did our rookie let up? Where's he at? He let up 8 sacks in his 17 starts. You know what? For a rookie, that's not that bad. I'd say that's pretty impressive. 133 tackles for Zaire Franklin is crazy. Devin Bush had 124. Bryce Hall had 106. So Devin Bush even got a bunch of playtime as the backup, which is pretty crazy. Brent's had a good season. Blackman had a good season. Where is the boys? 24 tackles for loss for Ebukam is unbelievable. Kwity Paye at 16. What is it? Eddie Ingbo? I apologize. I don't know how to say his name. DeForest Buckner at 8 sacks. Kwity Paye at 7, 4.5, 3.5, 2.5. Pick leader was Julius Brents with 3. Bush had 2. Boosh. Bryce Hall and Flowers had 2 as well. All right. So another losing season, but not as losing as it could have been. We could have been a 2-win team again. I don't think we're going to have that great of a draft pick, but we'll have probably a top 5 I would guess, unless there was a bunch of teams that sucked this year, which is possible. But we'll probably have a top 5 pick. And I did use my national scouts on defensive ends this year, so we should be able to grab ourselves a franchise defensive end if there's one available. We will have actually a top 5 pick, hopefully, because the Patriots were bad, Commanders were bad, Steelers were bad, but then it's a bunch of people in 6th, or with 6 wins, I should say. So we should have a pretty decent pick this year. It's Dolphins and Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Dak just won the MVP last season, so we'll see if he can do back-to-back with a Super Bowl added on this time. And he does. Well, he at least wins the Super Bowl, 38-31 over the Dolphins. All right. 38-31 over the Doofins. Who won the awards? We've got ourselves Dak winning. Oh my God, Dak is the greatest of all time. He won the MVP last year. He goes back-to-back in regular season MVPs, and he wins the Super Bowl with the Super Bowl MVP. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT now. That's simple facts. We didn't win any awards, though. We don't win Rookie of the Year. We don't win defensive or offensive. That's okay. I thought maybe our defensive, our linebacker would win something, but he didn't do it. That's all right. Whatever. We move to the offseason, where hopefully we will have a solid pick. And we can get ourselves some studly players. Let's take a look and see exactly what our pick is. We could look at the mock draft, but this is easier. We have pick number 5, so exactly a top 5 pick. All right. We picked at number 2 last year, and now we pick at number 5 this year. But things are going to turn around next season. Dallas Flowers, I wasn't going to bring him back, but he's got star development now, which makes me kind of want to bring him back. I know he's 28. We'll give him a 2-year deal. He doesn't want to be here, but if we offer him a bunch of money, he'll want to come back. So, and having a corner with star development is always nice, even if he's not super great. But boom, bring him back. We still have a good amount of money to go into free agency and bring in some key pieces. So let's go do that right now. Go to the free agency. Go to the free agency. All right, who's available? Show me the money. We've got Ryan Jensen at center, but we were looking to get younger at center, so Ryan Jensen's not going to be a guy. DeMarcus Lawrence, not really interested. BJ Hill is not a bad option, considering what we've been given the past couple of free agencies over the past few rebuilds. That's not a bad option, and I might just try to snag him right here. BJ Hill, 4-year deal, pay him a bunch of money, and he should accept this. Nobody's going to pay him that money because that's crazy amounts of money. Nobody would even think about it. The Steelers are battling with us, but we should be able to grab him. I would hope, at least. Don't need a quarterback. Don't need a running back. Could use a receiver, and Rashid Shaheed is here. KJ Hamler's also here again. Justin Ross. That could be fun. I never get Justin Ross. I think I'm going to go for Justin Ross. I don't ever see him in free agency, let alone get him. So we're going to try to go for Justin Ross. He might not end up being anything for us, but if he could grab 60 balls a season, I'd take it. I would take it. All right, so we offer him. We don't need a tight end. Offensive lineman, we're pretty good on now that we've drafted that tackle. So we will move on from them. Defensive line, Justin Matabuke. Ooh, intriguing. Intriguing, but I'm probably not going to go for it. I do like it, though. It's very interesting. Left outside linebackers. Jack Sanborn is probably not the guy. Although we have EJ Speed, and EJ Speed's getting a little bit older. I could think about bringing in Sanborn. And there's not really a corner that I want. Although, ooh, I might want Kelvin Joseph at 25 years old and star development. Let me see if I can grab myself Kelvin Joseph. I think the last time we went for Kelvin Joseph, we didn't get him. I don't remember what rebuild that was in. But I remember going for him and didn't bring him in. So hopefully this time we can. And he should accept that. And I think I'm going to offer Sanborn. I've convinced myself that we need Jack Sanborn to replace EJ Speed, even though we might draft somebody that's end up playing better anyway, or being a better overall. So we will go to the targeted. We've got BJ Hill, Kelvin Joseph, Justin Ross, and Jack Sanborn. We should be able to get everybody. Maybe not BJ Hill. I guess we'll find out. And we got everybody. Boom. So we add a few more players on defense to help that defense out. I told you we needed a full facelift on defense. That defense was sucky when we first got our hands on it. But now the team looks a little bit better. We will go to generate best lineups. We add another receiver that I like. So we got 4 receivers that are okay. Alec Pierce and Justin Ross are pretty solid. We've got great offensive linemen, and now Singer is a superstar development. He must have been superstar. Wait, was he superstar right away? Or did he progress to superstar? I think he just had superstar development because I don't see any awards he didn't win any awards or anything. So Greg Singer, generational left tackle, superstar development. Love to see it. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We need to focus on center because Ryan Kelly's starting to get a little worse. And then the defense is looking a lot better. Carrington is also superstar. Did he go up or is he just straight up superstar? Am I the drafting god again? I might be the drafting god. I think he got superstar right away. The drafting god has returned. You love to see it. All right, so we add BJ Hill to a defensive line that's pretty good. Ebukam goes up, which is nice. We've got 4 corners that I like. The team is interesting. That is for sure. The team is very, very interesting. We definitely need this offseason to help us out, or this draft, I should say, to help us out. So we'll go and do that. We'll simulate to the draft, and I'll cut it off. I like the team. We're getting better. If we change to Chiefs Playbook, it'll certainly help us in the long run. It'll help Jelani Woods for sure. It'll certainly help Jelani Woods. He'll go up to X Factor within the 2 seasons, I would guess. That's usually how it works. And we will see who's on the board for us at pick number 5. We could trade up. If there's a defensive lineman, I would... Do I want defensive lineman? I don't know. Let's take a look at the mock draft. Who do they have us taking? Jared Powers is around 1 to 2 true talent. Andrew Gordon is around 1 true talent. Jawan Baker is on the board. They have us taking a right tackle. We're not going to take a right tackle, even though we could use one at Braden Smith. Braden Smith. I don't think these 2 guys are worth taking at the spot that they're getting projected at. But Jawan Baker could be the best of the bunch in terms of just physical freak. I'll scout him. But it could be the fact that we need to trade down to get an outside linebacker, because I could use a guy to replace Jack Sanborn. That could certainly be something we do. But we need to look at this. So we're going to scout Jawan Baker to figure out if he's truly what his true talent is. We need to know for sure. And then we need to know how good some of these other outside linebackers are, because I could be persuaded to take one of them. Is there a corner that's good, though? Oh, I need to know if Alex Ballard is as good as he looks. We need to know for sure. So we're going to scout him, and then we are going to scout probably one of these linebackers. Not a left outside linebacker, probably a right outside, and move him over. Let's scout Michigan State's Tavon Gatewood. We'll scout those guys, figure out how good they are, and then we will proceed with what we're going to draft, or who we're going to draft. This could be a very interesting draft. We're not going to be too upset about those top defensive linemen. They just don't look that good. Well, they look good, but in terms of their true talent, they don't look that good. All right, so we know that Jawan Baker's around 1 to 2 as well. Who are the top 5 picks in this class? Is it Lucas Walker, Johnny Leach, maybe? I don't know who the top 5 talents are going to be. If all 3 of these defensive linemen are true round 1 to 2, that's very interesting. The corner we got up to 95, and he's not as good as I hoped, but that's okay. There are some corners that look pretty decent. What about that right outside linebacker? Tavon Gatewood. How good is he? Because we can move him to the left side and he could be pretty good. He has no rush moves at all. What is he? He's a pass coverage. Okay. He has no rush moves at all, but he does look decent. He doesn't look bad. I'll put him on the board just in case I forget about him. But he doesn't look decent. Or he doesn't look bad. What about a guy like Bradley Coleman? Decent physically. A-man coverage, B-zone coverage. I'm tickled. Ronnie Young is 6'3". Ran a 4.36 at his combine. I should have scouted this guy. Okay. That could be a player. What about the center position? Because the center position is the only other position that we absolutely need. And they're not all, or they're all like round 2 to 3, round 3 to 4. Okay, we can grab one of these guys with one of our picks. Picks? But who are we going to take in the first round? I have no idea. We might trade down, honestly. I'm not seeing anything that I like. And you know what? I'm actually going to spend my staff points before we start the draft. I don't know if it'll count, but if we can get ourselves the bonuses, like the trade-up bonuses and stuff, or the guaranteed trade packages, I might try to utilize that. But I don't know if it's going to count because we might need to simulate a week, and we can't simulate a week because we're already at the draft. I think we are, at least. All right, so we'll spend those staff points there. Make sure that we have the entire draft trade thing boosted. And yeah, we can't simulate any further, so we have to do the draft. All right, Patriots have the #1 pick. They will take that defensive lineman, Jared Powers. Then the Commanders take Andrew Gordon. Steelers get Jawan Baker. Lucas Walker goes to the Bucks, and we are up. I just didn't like any of the guys that were on the board. I don't think Marcus Hubbard's any better than the other guys. Unless he's got, like, physical freak. Not really. Nah, I don't think he's any better than the other guys. And we're not going to take a tackle, I don't think. I don't think there's a generational tackle in this class. I think the best move is to trade down. Unless we grab Jonathan Stockton. But is Jonathan Stockton a round 1 talent? Or not even a round 1 talent. Is he a top 5 pick? Maybe. He looks decent. I'm taking him. I'm taking him. We could trade down. I'm taking him. Oh, that's brutal. Oh, kill me. Strike me, baby Jesus. Strike me down. Normal development from Stockton. Oh, top 5 pick with normals. Brutal. Absolute, utter brutality. That's tough. But we fight on. I'm still a drafting god. Don't forget it. We're going to grab one of these centers with this pick. Matt Baton. Or Batten? I don't know. Baton? Who's the best of the bunch? Elijah Ford. He's the best physically that I've seen so far. He could be good. What about Julian Enriquez? Not good physically, but he looks like a solid enough blocker. And then you got this guy, Jamie Romero. Pretty good physically. I think Jamie Romero and Elijah Ford are the best ones of the bunch. Although Matt Baton could be good. I think that this guy's the best one. Elijah Ford. He's got the physicals. He's decent enough blocking. I'm going to take Elijah Ford. No! Ah, the drafting god status is dying. Another normal development player. That's brutal. Oh, okay. Rightio, Ranger Joe. Romero's still there. I could take him if I wanted to. I might do that just to try to repair my ego, but Tavon Gatewood is also here. And I did like Tavon Gatewood. I'm going to grab him. Yeah! Hidden development. Let's go. We actually grabbed one. The drafting god is still alive. We'll go to the 4th round. If that Romero guy is still there at center, we'll take him. But I don't know if he will be. He could have gotten drafted. Michael Jackson. Let's see if there's anybody. Julio Enriquez. Was he the guy or was it Romero? I think it was Romero was the guy that I liked. Julian Enriquez doesn't look amazing, but he's good enough. We're going to grab him. He's only normal development. 2 centers that have normal development, but we can move one of them to guard, I guess. Not the end of the world. We're going to let the CPU handle the rest of it. They could take receiver or whatever they want. We got a development trait in Tavon Gatewood, so I'll take that. But missing out on the offensive lineman, that's too brutal, man. You cannot miss on that. You cannot miss on offensive linemen with development traits. You got to get them. 74 for Stockton's fine. Elijah Ford 73 is fine. Gatewood 73 is good. The rest of the guys are kind of garbage. That's all right. How good was the class? The class was not amazing. There was a corner in the second round, 2 corners in the second round. They're the top corners in the class, but it wasn't that good of a class. So we didn't miss out on much. We just didn't hit on development traits as much as I would have wanted. And I might start Jack Sanborn I might start the rookie Gatewood over Sanborn this season since he's got the development trait. So let's go and adjust the lineup, figure out how good we're going to be. We also got to switch to Kansas City's playbook. So let's do this, switch to that. We got a backup, possibly a couple backups. We'll go to the defensive side of things, and they have Gatewood not starting over him. We're going to switch Gatewood to left outside linebacker and start him over Sanborn just because he's younger and he's got a development trait and Sanborn doesn't. So we will have that. Switch him there. All right, and they have this. They've switched it, so I got to do that. Perfect. And then Gatewood will start over Stockton, honestly. He'll start over Stockton, and Stockton will be behind him. So perfect. Franklin's got star development now. The team's coming together. We still need a couple more off seasons, I would guess. Maybe one more off season, depending on how this playbook works. But we're coming together. We're not there just yet, but we are decently good. Let's change our scheme before I forget. So we're going to run offensive vertical zone run. We're going to run base 4-3, and then we are going to switch to Kansas City's playbook on offense. And we'll keep Indianapolis defense only because we're getting crazy sack numbers and crazy tackle numbers. So we'll keep that. But now we are running KC, so expect Jelani Woods to have a crazy season this year. But I'm going to simulate season 3, and I will catch you guys at the playoffs. Maybe we're going to be a part of them. I don't know. Kansas City's playbook works in mysterious ways. We have wrapped up the season, and it was quite the turnaround, I do have to say so. 11-6. We've gone from being the laughingstock of the league to being a potential playoff threat in just one season of changing the playbooks and getting good development from our main man, Anthony Richardson. Let's take a look at these stats. Anthony Richardson has arrived. He's still throwing a lot of interceptions, but 4,500 yards, 39 touchdowns, and a 72% completion percentage is much better than what I was expecting him to have. And Jonathan Taylor still produced like he was doing in the Colts playbook. He just got more touchdowns. 1,400 yards and 21 touchdowns. That could be Offensive Player of the Year numbers right there. That's really, really productive. Jelani, what did I tell you? Literally any single tight end. You could have a 50 overall normal development tight end. You put them with a decent enough quarterback and a good enough offensive line in Chiefs playbook, and they will go to Superstar X Factor as quick as you will ever believe. It is unbelievable how overpowered the Chiefs playbook is for any tight end. Doesn't matter who it is. And Jelani Woods is that example right there because he's got 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns. He will be Superstar development when we take a look after the Super Bowl. 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns for Josh Downs. Michael Pittman had 900 yards and 5 touchdowns. So we're producing pretty well. Obviously, I mean, AR had 4,500 yards. Of course, we're going to be producing. And the Kerry Carrington pickup. First off, it's a Hall of Fame name. And the fact that he has been producing since we got him is unbelievable. I am still a drafting god. 142 tackles. Blackman had 116. Bryce Hall had 90. Brents had 89. Bush had 80. Boosh. Ebukam had 71. Tackle for loss leader was Ebukam and Buckner with 19. Kwity Paye and BJ Hill had 16. Sack leader was Ebukam with 5, along with Buckner, and then 3.5 for Paye. Pick leader was Darnell Savage, who had 5. Okay, Bryce Hall had 4. A couple guys had 1. Very interesting numbers. Very, very interesting numbers. But we've got a playoff game to focus on. It's the first time we've made the playoffs. 11-6 versus 10-7 Jets. Come on, Colts. I need that playbook to capitalize, and it is. And we're taking on the Chiefs, who have had a down year. Kansas City is 11-6, just like us. Can we beat the Chiefs? We're not ready to win a championship yet, but if we could go to the AFC title game, that'd be awesome. I doubt we do. It's Kansas City, and we don't. 35-28, I didn't think we would. Kansas City's almost unbeatable in the playoffs. There are times where you can beat them, as shown in previous rebuilds on the channel, but most of the time they are just unstoppable. But we'll get them next year. We will get them next year. We'll have one more season of drafting, of getting free agents, quote-unquote, going all in, and I think we'll be ready to win a championship, especially because Anthony Richardson's going to take a huge step up. I'm assuming he's going to be superstar development when we take a look here after the Super Bowl. It's Panthers and Chiefs. So if Bryce Young can get to the Super Bowl, why can't we? And I think we will after we get through this offseason. The Chiefs destroy them, though, 24-3. Wasn't really even a challenge, I'm guessing. And we will get to the offseason. We have to figure out our center position because I'm assuming Ryan Kelly's going to get close to retiring, or if he's not, he's just going to be really, really low overall and pretty bad. So we've got to, that's really like the last thing we need to figure out is the center position. He may have already retired. He hasn't. He's still here, but we've got a great offensive line. I'm loving it. Richardson did not go up. Wow, okay. But Jonathan Taylor did. He's now an X Factor. Jelani Woods, superstar development. What'd I tell you? And then the defense, Gatewood is superstar. Did he go up? Or is he true superstar? Am I just a drafting god? I think I am just a drafting god. Another superstar development right or outside linebacker. I can't be stopped. Blackman, we already knew was superstar. Darnell Savage goes up to superstar. Bryce Hall goes up to superstar. I'm just unbeatable. I am too dangerous for my own good. I draft too many good players. That's a great season. That's a great season of progression. That's a great season of just overall play. And now we move to the offseason where we're going to capitalize on that. Kwity Paye needs a new contract. I'll bring him back. He's 27. He's productive. We'll give him a new contract. He can hopefully come back for us, and he's going to come back. Jelani Woods, we have to bring back because now he's actually going to be good for us in this new playbook. But unfortunately, we have to overpay, so we will go and do that. We shouldn't have to bring anybody into free agency. I feel like we're pretty solid. Cameron McGroin we can let go because we have depth now at the position. Tyquan Lewis we can let go. Trey Sermon I'll bring back because I love Trey Sermon. And having a backup running back that I trust is always nice. So Trey Sermon is back. But everybody else can leave. And we can go into free agency with a good amount of money. Maybe to bring in one or two big players depending on how big of a name they are. Depends, I guess. But then we go into the next season and we rock it out. We dominate. I'm expecting championships. Tyrann Mathieu we don't need. Juwan Bentley we don't need. Okay, so there's not really anybody that absolutely has to be here. We could throw an offer at DeMarcus Lawrence. He's 83 overall. Is Ebukam or Kwity Paye better? I know Kwity Paye's not higher overall. But what is Ebukam? Is he a higher overall? Kwity Paye is an 84. Ebukam's only a 79. So if we brought in DeMarcus Lawrence, he would start on that right side. And I wouldn't hate that. I know he's old, but we're trying to go all in. Or at least as all in as we can go. As all in as we can go with the money that we have available to us. So let's go and do this. Let's bring in DeMarcus Lawrence on a 2-year deal, 5.5. Hopefully he will think that's a good enough offer, and he does. Okay, who else do we need to bring in? We don't need any offensive line except for a center. But there's not really a center that's better than the center we have already. Brandon Scherf, no. It's just a bunch of guards and kickers and punters. I don't think there's going to be anybody here that we absolutely have to have. Or that's going to make a difference, I should say. Everybody here is just not going to be a difference maker, except for maybe DeMarcus Lawrence, and that's why we're going after him. Carl Granderson is 82. Kwity Paye's already an 84, so he wouldn't matter that much. We don't need middle linebacker. We have good middle linebackers. We're good at edge. Corner, I mean, McCreary's only 26. Maybe we bring him in as some depth. Or Marcus Jones. Marcus Jones, because he's a star development player, could be a little bit of a better offer. And I don't think we're fighting anybody for him, so if we throw an offer like that at Marcus Jones, he should accept that, and I think that's going to be everybody we go for. It's not a big eventful offseason, or a free agency, but I wanted it to be a little bit more eventful. But we bring in 2 more defensive players. DeMarcus Lawrence to go on the defensive line to start for hopefully our championship season. And then Marcus Jones to go into the cornerback depth. I know he's not very big, but in simulation, that doesn't really matter that much. So DeMarcus Lawrence will start now at that. Gatewood, I thought I had him start at left outside linebacker. He'll start at left outside linebacker. So we'll switch that, and we will put Gatewood at the starting left outside linebacker spot. He's just playing down because of bad morale for some reason. But there we go. Bush will now take over at middle linebacker. DeMarcus Lawrence will start at right. Kwity Paye left. BJ Hill and DeVorce Buckner in the middle. We got great cornerback depth. The defense is looking a lot better than it was originally, and the offense looks great as well. I'm feeling confident. I am feeling confident this team can go on a run and win a championship. We just have to get to the results and find out. But we still have a draft to do. We still have to take care of a draft, which we're going to have a pretty low pick in the draft because we obviously made the playoffs and won a playoff game, so we're probably picking in the 20s at some point. But maybe there's a center that's on the board that we could grab in the late first round. That could be something, or maybe a wide receiver. I could definitely go for a wide receiver. I don't know if there's going to be anybody. I use my national focus on corner, but we're not going to necessarily need corner anymore. I feel pretty confident with the corners we have. So our pick is going to be pick number 28, and they have us taking a running back. All right, I don't really want to do that. But I don't think there's a receiver that's like amazing. There hasn't really been a receiver that's been amazing in any of these draft classes, has there been? Or unless I might have missed one. A receiver would probably be the only one other than a center, and there are not really any good receivers that I want to take, except for maybe Tyler Hoover in the second round. He's a round 1 to 2 true talent. He's about the best one. So we'll keep an eye on him. We could grab him. What about centers? We know 80% on Keegan Schultz. I'll use a couple on these two guys, Jose Jimenez and Rob Donnell, just so we can know a little bit more about them. And I might go back and use the other one on the other center, the final point. Because that's really the only other position that we are desperately in need for. Everything else we're pretty good at. Maybe another D tackle instead of BJ Hill, but I feel pretty confident with what we got. I think I'm just going to use all three on these centers and figure out how good they are. We'll know for sure how good that first center is, because we'll have him up to, I would think, 100%, maybe 95%. If not, we'll be very close if he's not 100% already. And I'm expecting us to be able to take him. I'll check the mock draft one more time once I remember his name. All right, let's go to the center. So we know that he's a true round one talent, and we got 90% on the other guys. The other guys look pretty good, so if we miss out on the first center, I would not be mad at taking either one of these guys. Jose Jimenez and Rob Donnell. They both look pretty good. And if I could grab both of them, I would be happy about it. I would certainly be happy about it. But we will keep an eye on the first center. And we'll also keep an eye on this receiver, Tyler Hoover. Because I think he's pretty fast, isn't he? 6'1". He's got great speed. He ran a 4.4 and a 4.3. He doesn't look the best, but he's not going to be a real difference maker anyway. So we'll get to the draft. Oh, I wanted to check the mock draft. That's right. Let's check the mock draft one final time to make sure that that center's not going before we pick. So let's see. Center. No, we're in the clear. None of the centers are in the first round, although the only one that was projected to go round 1 to 2 was just the top one, and he wasn't in there. So that's perfect. We can start the NFL draft, and we can sim to our pick and be worry-free that we can get basically whoever we want. We're just going to have to decide how many of the centers do we want. Do we want to get all of them, or do we want to try to get Tyler Hoover too? I think we can grab Hoover in the second round. I don't think he'll be gone. But we can come away with Keegan Schultz. We know he's a true round 1 talent, so it's not a reach. He's hidden development. He's probably going to be starting over Ryan Kelly this season, depending on how much Ryan Kelly has regressed. But we can come into the second round and maybe grab Hoover. I guess we'll see what the wide receiver market looks like. So the board is still pretty heavy with talent, and both of these guys are still on the board. I might try to risk it and let Hoover go to the third round and grab the center, because I do think Jose Jimenez is going to be good, and he's also hidden development. So we pick up 2 centers in the first 2 rounds. We're playing it risky. We don't know if Hoover's going to be on the board. If it's not on the board, it's not the end of the world, because he doesn't look like phenomenal by any means. But I would like to have him on the team, and he is not here anymore. Okay, perfect. That's fine. I didn't think he was gonna be. And we can't get the other center either. The other center's gone. Oh, well, now I don't know where to go. I was gonna take that other center. I was gonna take 3 centers. Now I don't know where to go. I guess we could take a corner since we know 95%, but none of them look good. So we're not gonna take a corner. Wait, was that post potential? This guy's round 2 to 3 true talent. Interesting. Sergio Dunlap. Why is he round 2 to 3? He doesn't look good, but we're going to take him anyway. 92 speed, 91 excel. He's around 2 to 3 talent. I mean, we couldn't pass up on him. I'm going to let the CPU handle the rest of the draft. We got our guys. We got the 2 offensive linemen that we wanted. And it's Madden, so we can make them whatever we want. We could turn them into whatever we want. Within reason, I guess. We'll see how good of an overall they are. And maybe they'll start over Ryan Kelly. It's possible. Draft recap is 74 and a 75. So we got 2 of the best centers in the class, or the 2 best centers in the class, I would think. And then Dunlap's a 72, so that's not a bad shout. And then they took a wide receiver in the final round. He's not that good. We got our guys. I'm happy. 79 was the highest, then a 78, so it wasn't that great of a class. Man, we've been getting some duds. We've been getting some real duds in these auto-generated draft classes, haven't we? I'm happy with that draft, though. Grabbing 2 centers that both have hidden development, that are both pretty good already. I feel like we are in a good spot now. Is this season 5 we're starting? Or is it season 4 we're starting? I don't remember. Jimenez can probably start right away. I'm going to start him over Ryan Kelly. I know Ryan Kelly's a 76, but, I mean, we need to get the rookie out there. So he's going to start over him, and we are going to be pretty much good to go. Pretty much good to go. We've got great weapons, or good enough weapons, and they have Sanborn starting over Gatewood. I don't want that. All right, let's simulate the season, see how the team does. I will catch you guys at the end of the year in the playoffs, where I'm expecting us to be a part of them. I don't know if we're going to be the 1 seed. I would doubt it, but maybe. You never know. How many? I guess it depends on how many. I didn't mean to do that. I guess it depends on how the other teams do, and if they win a bunch of games or if they lose a bunch of games. That all depends, but I will catch you guys at the end of the year. The season is wrapped up, and we made the playoffs again, this time absolutely crushing the division. Everybody went 7-10 or 5-12, and we went 13-4, making the playoffs. Not as the 1 seed, which I didn't expect, but we did make it as probably the 2 seed, I would guess. Taking on the Chiefs again, we can get our revenge on Kansas City, who we lost to in the divisional round last season. And Anthony Richardson continues to take that next step. 4,200 yards, 34 touchdowns, 14 picks, 71% completion percentage. He has had a great completion percentage this entire time. He's been crazy good. Jonathan Taylor, again, with a fantastic season. Jelani Wood's going to be an X factor pretty soon. Well, after this season's over. Josh Downs had a great year. Michael Pittman kind of fell off a little bit, but that's okay. Defensively, 128 tackles from Devin Bush, 125 from Carrington, 86 from Blackman, 85 from Bryce Hall, 18 tackles for loss for DeMarcus Lawrence. So it looks like the production was good enough that we paid him the right amount of money, because he produced a lot of stats for us, which is good. 10 tackles for loss for Buckner. 9.5 for Lawrence, 9 for Buckner, 8.5 sacks for Odeyingbo, I think is how you pronounce that. 4 for Kwity Paye. 5 picks for Bryce Hall is crazy. Picks. 2 for Joseph and Blackman, and 1 for a couple other people. All right, this could be the year. This could very well be the season we take the championship. Are we going to get our revenge over Kansas City? We have to. We can't lose them 2 years in a row. It's just not possible. Yes! 31-21. And now we take on the Baltimore Ravens, who were the 1 seed. They are 14-3. We are 13-4. This is a tough one. This is a very, very tough thing. Oh, they weren't the 1 seed. The Raiders had a better schedule or a better record. They might have also been 14-3, but they just had the tiebreaker over the Ravens. So we take on the Ravens. Raiders and Bills. Vikings, Cowboys, Rams, and Commanders are over on the other side that my camera's covering. This is going to be massive. Here we go. This is tough. 13-4 versus 14-3. The Ravens always simulate super well in this. 35-7. Wow. Anthony Richardson in this playbook is crazy. 35-7 over the Ravens in the divisional round. Now we go to the AFC title game to take on the Raiders, who went 15-2. The Raiders are super hot this season. I don't know who's on their team. It's 6 versus 7 in the NFC title game. The Rams lost. The Giants got shut out. Falcons lost in the first round. Vikings lost to the Cowboys. This is unbelievable. What a crazy NFC side of things, but it's 1 versus 3 over here. I don't know. This is going to be pretty crazy. I don't know if we can do this. But here we go. I don't know. I have no idea. The Raiders had such a good season, but sometimes the underdog is favored in Madden for some reason. We did it. 31-28. We are playing in the Super Bowl against the Washington Commanders of all teams. So they ruined the Cowboys' Cinderella run from the 7th seed to the NFC title game. They went 10-7. We have to have this in the bag. We have to. Richardson's now a true 85 overall. It's got to be done. It's got to be done, Zoe. 13-4 versus 10-7. Oh, we got to jump in and get this W, boys. We got to eat these W's. We got to eat these W's. Let's go get it.
Madden Football is the home of the Super Bowl, and this historic matchup is brought to you by EA Sports. It's the Colts and the Commanders, and it comes your way next.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Tonight, it is all on the line. We play for the Lombardi Trophy, as it'll be the AFC champion Indianapolis Colts taking on the NFC champions, the Washington Commanders. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you talk about this Commanders team coming into play here today. They come in feeling good after back-to-back victories. Meanwhile, for the visiting Colts, they've certainly found their groove of late, winners of 5 in a row.
And I think the sky's the limit for this team. They're playing the best football that they've played in a long time.
We have brought the Colts back to the Super Bowl for the first time, since Peyton Manning was here? Yikes. That is pretty crazy. We lead 10-7, 14-10. We come back 17-14. Come on, boys. We got to do this. We got to capitalize. There it is, 24-14, 24-21, 31-21, 34-21. I think the boys have got it. The Commanders drive down. That's okay, because we have the ball with 20 seconds to go, and all we got to do is kneel one time, and we are world champions. Oh my God, I can't believe it. We've actually done it. We've actually rebuilt the Indianapolis Colts with Anthony Richardson at quarterback. We kept most of this team. We kept Jonathan Taylor, Richardson, Quentin Nelson, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, basically the entire offensive line except for the left tackle that we drafted the very first season, and then everybody else is back. Oh, no, the starting center was new this season. But other than that, the offense was pretty much the same. Jelani Woods was even the starting tight end. And then on defense, we added 2 outside linebackers and Devin Bush in the middle, so we changed the entire linebacking core. And then on defense, we kept Buckner, we kept Grover Stewart, really, but he got moved to backup. And we kept basically all the corners. We added a couple, although we got rid of Kenny Moore. We kept this team's pretty much the same. We just added a few pieces here and there. Mostly the defense has changed, and that's what I told you I was going to do. I told you I was going to change the defense because the defense was horrible. But we get Quentin Nelson a championship. We get that man right there, Anthony Richardson, a championship. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful sight. I'm much happier than losing. Man, when I lost that Lions rebuild Super Bowl with Devontae Freeman fumbling twice, that crushed my soul. So it's nice to get a championship again. It's nice to win one, because that one was brutal the way we lost that Super Bowl. We should not have lost that game. But we come back, fresh sight, and we win a championship with the Indianapolis Colts. We have completed the rebuild. Let's go take a look at season recap and look back at this team. See how good it was. I'm still the drafting god. I may have misses here and there, but I'm still the drafting god when it counts. You can't tell me otherwise. You cannot tell me otherwise. Back-to-back seasons drafting superstar development right outside linebackers? Are you kidding me? Who else is going to do that? Richardson wins the MVP of the Super Bowl. We don't win any other awards. Lamar wins the MVP of the league. Even though the Raiders were the best team in the AFC. All right, let's take a look at this development. Let's take a look at the development, boys. We should see, yep, superstar development from Anthony Richardson. What did I tell you? I am a drafting god, a superstar development center, a superstar development generational left tackle. Are you kidding me? You cannot argue with the fact that I am a drafting god. It is written in the stars. It's right in front of your face. You cannot argue that. You simply can't. Jelani Woods is an X factor. I've turned Jelani Woods into an all-pro tight end. Well, with the Kansas City playbook, but you get it. It's the same deal. Richardson's amazing. The defense is phenomenal. We've got great players all around. DeForest Buckner we were able to keep. DeMarcus Lawrence retired after he got a championship. Bryce Hall's now an X factor. These two guys are studs. Kerry Carrington with a Hall of Fame level name. He's a stud. Absolutely phenomenal. And then what's the other guy's name? Tavon? Is it Tavon Gatewood? Or Taven? I don't remember how to pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's also a stud. He's a little bit more raw than Kerry Carrington, but he'll get there. With a little bit more development, he will certainly get there. And we did this with like 2 really good wide receivers and then a couple just like mid receivers, but we got it done. And this man, Jose Jimenez, superstar developments. I'm a drafting god, man. I am a drafting god, and this is the guy that we took in the 2nd round. He wasn't even the first tight end first center we took. That was, I think, was it you? No, it wasn't you. It was somebody else. But he wasn't even the first center we took, and then we got this guy. I mean, this guy was a game changer. Greg Singer, hardly know her. Generational left tackle. We took him with the 2nd overall pick. Totally worth it. I mean, him and Quentin Nelson are the greatest combo of all time. That's the greatest left side of an offensive line you'll ever see. And then on the defense with Carrington and Gatewood, I mean, it's just unbelievable. We also had pretty good corners. The safeties never really developed, but that's okay. We didn't really need them to. And we had this guy as a backup. I mean, Jonathan Stockton, I think we took him in, what, the 1st round or the 2nd round, something like that. And he ended up being not a bust. He just really didn't get a chance to play because we had guys that were better than him that just jumped him in the order. But that's going to do it for the Colts rebuild. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. It feels really good to get back in the winning ways after losing that heartbreaker of a Lions rebuild, but it is what it is. You got to move on. Let me know down below in the comments what other teams you want to see me rebuild, whether it's on PS5, which is like the base rosters, or if it's on PC with either the 2015 mod or the 2012 mod or the college football mod. Whatever you want to see me do, let me know in the comments. With that, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.